Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. If you can hear me, please just give us maybe an emoji or something, or maybe send a message on the chat. If you can hear me, an emoji will be fine. Okay. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our open webinar. I think we have about 7 people on board now. We should commence immediately, but it would be nice to have more people join. Please confirm if you can hear me very well. I kind of lost my voice recently due to sore throat. So please confirm. An emoji will be fine. Thank you.
We can hear you there.
All right. Okay. All right. I think I should just commence since we have I think a limited time on our hands. Hopefully we have more people that will join. My goal was to have up to 100 people, 100 professionals being a part of this webinar today, so we can get as much insight as possible. All right. So I think while we start, I would appreciate if we can start commenting our various professions, whatever profession it is that you are practicing at the moment. Can you kindly enter the chat box and just tell us, just write out just one line. It's a one-liner. Architect, engineer. If it's an engineer, you have to specify maybe civil engineer, mechanical engineer, and if you're the tech kind of engineer, machine learning engineer, data engineer or something, just help us and comment on your chat box. Tell us your professions, please. Would appreciate that. Kindly tell us your profession. Would really appreciate to. Would love to know what you practice. We've just gotten one from Pamela. And Pamela, thank you for joining. Yeah. Okay, MEP, we have a civil engineer, and we also have a project engineer. Please kindly comment your profession, your current practice. Would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have 10 people now. No, 12 people on the call, I think. Okay. My goal is 100. I'd love to see 100 of us here. Well, as you can see, we have an introduction here. I think you must have read the short intro to what we are doing with KS Digital Innovations. It's a tech startup. So basically, we are doing tech, but we are narrowing our tech down to the construction industry. And as we are covering all the value chain within the industry, that's including architecture, all the kinds of engineering that you can think of, and also every other profession like project management, construction management, and quantity survey, the survey itself, that's land survey and the likes. Which other profession? I don't want to miss out building technology. We all know these professions. So actually, this is what we are. This is our target. We want to build technology solutions to aid the way we do things in the industry. Most times we talk about the need for innovation in the industry. We talk about why we need to digitize our workflows, and really over the years, it's always about the conversations, but we rarely see action happening. So we've decided to take the bull by the horn and take this as a career path. Not just me, my solid team behind me. We have many of them on the call today. And so we are basically trying to solve the unique problems that we are experiencing in all of these professions. especially here in Nigeria and in Africa at large. So, with a general, no, not with a holistic vision of transforming the world digitally, we really want to transform the world. We might start from a small place, but our goal is to reach as many people as possible, as many continents as possible, as many professions as possible. Yeah. So, I think in few years from now, starting from this particular year, I think KS Digital Innovations will be a household name, and that's because we are very intentional about what we are doing. We are not here to play. I have practiced as a structural engineer. It's over 5 years now, and for me to choose this path of buildings, tech products and the likes, it should tell you that we are not really playing. We are not joking. It's an assignment. It's a vision. We just have to do it. Um, so let's just quickly deep dive. Like I mentioned during our small marketing efforts to bring you guys here today, it's an open webinar. It's an open webinar where every one of us here together would share insights. We are all practicing, I believe so. And one way or the other, we are doing what we do on a daily basis. And definitely, there are specific issues we must have been experiencing, knowing that our industry is plagued with a lot of problems here and there, especially because we are way behind when it comes to technology adoption. But I understand that because of the number of years I've spent also practicing, I understand that there are specific problems that we face and we have not seen solutions for at the moment. And I'm sure many of us can testify that it can be frustrating doing or experiencing these problems on a daily basis. It's something that can get you frustrated. It can affect your mental health. Imagine, sorry, going to your office on a daily basis and you have to think about going through the same experience you went through the previous day. I think many architects will relate with this, and every other profession. There are some things, like I said in my recent video on LinkedIn, there are some repetitive things we do and we get tired of. We don't want to face these things every day on a daily basis. These are problems, these are unique problems. And there are many other problems that we are facing that we know deep down inside of our hearts we need solutions for. And that's why we are actually devoting our time, our energy, our resources into solving them. And that's why we brought everybody together. We understand the need for market research, understand the need for having a discussion with the end users of our products. That's why we are gathering here today. Let us discuss openly. It's not going to be what do I call it? Um, yeah, what do we call this thing again? Yeah, this form we fill online when okay, survey, yeah, online surveys. Yeah, it's a bit stressful. Personally, I don't like surveys. I don't like it. If you tell me and you beg me, maybe you are doing your master's or something, and you're begging me to help you fill a survey, I would personally not. If you force me to, I will go there and type in what I want, because most times, especially in this our generation, many of us have a very low attention span. We tend to uh, lose track of the whole essence of stuff like that. So when we go on maybe Google form, we just click anything that will make us leave that place sharp sharp. Yeah, so we understand that surveys don't really work. Again, it's something that the Gen Zs don't like doing. We just like we don't like it. Well, I'm a Gen Z and we all have similar characteristics. So that's why we resorted to having a one-on-one discussion. Let us, if we want to meet with our end users, we can't do that via online service. It has to happen through a direct conversation. We need to hear from your heart what really is the problem, what are the issues. And you can only communicate these things better by talking, by speaking, not by just answering and curated questions that doesn't really resonate with your problems. So that doesn't solve that doesn't solve anything. So that's why we have you here today, and thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. Um, so yeah, this is our vision. Our vision basically is to revolutionize the architecture, engineering, and construction industry in Nigeria and in Africa at large by providing accessible software, accessible in the sense that you can easily access it, both in the sense of affordability and then when it comes to proximity, it's not something that you have to search and search and search for. It's something that will be shouting at your faces every time. So we are providing accessible software and technology solutions to solve global challenges. Of course, our goal is not just to solve problems within Africa. We also have intentions to scale and to extend our impact to every other parts of the world. But we are going to start from somewhere, right? We have to start from Nigeria. We have to start from our country, our continent, then scale. Of course, because we are in one particular industry that has unique or similar traits in every demography. Definitely, if a problem is solved here, that means that that solution can be utilized anywhere else in the world. So we have plans to scale and solve global challenges as well. So yeah, one of our vision also is to nurture um, the next generation of passionate innovators. That's one of the reasons why we held the last tech event, the Contact Nigeria 2024 event. It's part of our vision at KS Digital Innovations to extend the essence of innovation across every part of the industry. We want everybody to know that we need to solve our problems and we have to start now. That's why we had that event. And thank you very much for everyone that attended the event, both physically and virtually. I'm sure you were impacted one way or the other. And so basically, we just want to impact the world. We want to solve problems, and we want to meet needs, and we want to do it via technology. So that's our vision, and that's what we are doing at KS Digital Innovations. All right, straight up, because we don't want to waste our time. The goal, like I said, is to solve our problems, your problems, not our problems. Why are we using this tagline? Um, usually whenever an average and technology provider, whenever he or she is moved by passion to solve a problem, usually that problem is related to what they must have been experiencing over time. That's personal. It's usually personal. It's always a personal problem. And then they curate their solutions based on those personal problems. But really, if you look at it, once those guys build their products, they end up entering the market and get very surprised that nobody is listening to them or giving them attention. And that's because they never asked what the end users actually want. If it starts with a personal problem, it always it always ends as a personal problem. So you have the problem of trying to force your solution down the throats of other people. It's a big problem. So why not just start the right way, asking questions? And that's why we are dedicated to doing this as a tech startup in the construction industry. We want to actually we want to hear the minds of everyone. We want to know what you need. We don't want like I said in my videos, we don't want to solve problems that we think we need or personally that we think the industry needs. We want to solve problems that you you have. We want to solve your own problems. So basically that's it. So I have two of my team members here that will be taking talk from here and they'll be asking these questions. And like I said, before you join, if you joined recently, I asked that you help us enter the chat box and comment your profession, whatever profession it is that you are practicing at the moment. Help us just type it in, maybe architecture or something, or architect, structural engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, construction manager, facility manager. Just type it in. Yeah, so we are going to we're going to be taking questions, we are going to be taking your suggestions, your insights, your ideas, your comments, and you have to unmute your mic whenever you want to speak, because it's like I said, it's an open webinar, so we want you to talk. And thank you very much. Also, one more thing, we rest assured that we are not using this. There's also always a privacy policy attached to stuff like this. Although we are gathering data, but we're not gathering data with your information. We are gathering data based on the insights you share with us. So rest assured, there's no data breach or anything happening in this webinar. So yeah, I'll be bringing up my guys, Taiwo, who is a BIM software engineer at KS Digital Innovations, and also David, who is leading our marketing efforts. So, guys, I think you can take it up from here. Introduce yourself, and Taiwo, introduce yourself, and then David can come up.
Good morning. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good Saturday, good weekend. My name is Taiwo Ayovindi, and as Ken introduced, I'm a civil engineer. Yeah, civil engineer first, a practicing civil engineer, and also I'm a BIM software developer with KS Digital Innovations. To make everything go on fast, I think, in my opinion, Kenny has broken all of the rules we set for this webinar. We promised to make this webinar as interactive as we can, and Kenny took 15 minutes for himself, going back and forth.
So sorry about that.
I have to do that. He knows I'll be real. I'll say my things and I'll
You are free.
But that's just like me. And before I continue, I'd like David to also come and introduce himself. Mr. David.
All right. Thank you, Taiwo. Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, very well.
We can hear you clearly.
All right. So my name is David Bala, and as Mr. Kenny has introduced me, I'm leading marketing efforts for KS Digital Innovations. And once again, we want to thank you all for coming, and be sure to have a great time here. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Taiwo.
Yeah, thank you, David. So let's the party begin. Let's the party begin. So the first question we have here is a question everyone keeps asking, every employer keep asking. Like, I think it's a major problem in the industry, not even the construction industry. I think all industries, we are all concerned about productivity. The better we can do productivity, the more profit we make. Let's just put it like that, because the essence of working, you just start trying to make profit. So the first question is, what's the most critical problem affecting productivity in your workflow? I don't know if we all get that question, but in a particular workflow we find ourselves, in a particular profession, civil engineering, architecture, mechanical engineering, electrical, all professions in the AEC industry actually. We all have technologies we use, definitely, but there should be critical problems that we feel affect the way we work. Probably the cost delay. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. There are some workflows that you might be embarking on, and they cause delay one way or another. You feel there are better ways you can go about it, and they affect the way you work. Like what you should get done in say 15 minutes, you spend like an hour or two worrying about it. So we want to know those problems. And before I give us the floor to discuss, to respond, I want us to respond by how would you do it? Kenny or David, can you help me out? How can we take suggestions
So they
we
can
make orderliness?
Yeah, you can just raise up your hands
Okay.
and then raise up your hands, or maybe just type in the chat box. I have your response.
Okay, nice. So yes, I think Kenny played that. So you can raise up your hand and you can okay, I'll call you. You unmute yourself. Just a brief introduction. the industry you find yourself, and you can state the particular problem. So who do we have here? Okay, I think Bonaventure hands has been raised for a while now. So Engineer Bonaventure, you have the floor, please.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly, the engineer.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm Ngu Bonaventure Ikena, a graduate engineer. I'm working as a VIM engineer in Sanya Ojo Consulting. I'm Partners Consulting Limited, that's OPCL. So I have a question, and it still boils down to what you have been talking, the same automation. Yesterday, sometimes someone could have a problem without even knowing until maybe you open our eyes more. They will be like, oh, so we have this problem. I was in a
Yeah.
hospital yesterday. If you know this Arjolad, I think Arjolad, close to Bogada.
Bariga.
So, yeah, Bariga, yes. So, and when I went to the hospital, it's very cool. I discovered that virtually all they were doing were majorly from system. In short, the only time I saw paper, I tried noticing that, checking out. The only time I saw paper on a lab, the paper was, a laptop was on top of the paper. So it was basically not used. That was the only thing. Okay, when I came out, I now saw another person holding a paper. That was the only two times I saw paper in that company, in that hospital. Everything, when I left the where I made a payment consultation fee, and I went to meet the doctor. Immediately I knocked on the doctor. The doctor said, "Oh, Bonaventure, you are welcome." So they sent my details to the doctor, and also the same thing when I went to do X-ray. What's it called, lab test and X-ray, all these things. So the thing is, in SOP where I work, I won't give you a correct figure, but if I tell you that if we spend no less than $500,000 every year on paper, this is just normal day-to-day activity. Paper printing, just normal that you want to print a drawing for somebody to check, or you want to print for somebody to approve, all those kind of things before you now print or whatever that thing. We spend no less than $500,000 every year. And I see it as a problem because it didn't occur to me. Yes, if you come to our archive, our archive is bigger than some people's general office. It's very big. So many things, papers everywhere. Okay, so I'm now trying to say, could there be a way, maybe contact could come in, not just SAP, because I'm sure there are other people having the same problem. Make our processes automated. In this case now, I don't need to print out my drawing. For instance, if I'm done with my GA, general arrangement, and I'll bring it to my line manager, I'll be like, sir, please, can you approve this? And the person will say, okay, we'll now use red pen, mark, all those things. I'll say, okay, verify and do this. I don't need to do that. Let it be that wherever I will be, if I'm done with that stuff, my GA, and I need approval, I will send it to my line manager anyway. The line manager could do some markup, all those things, and get some information to me for me to to carry on with. So the question is it possible for it's possible for
Definitely.
contact now to create a model, come to some place like SOP and say, look, this is how it will work. This model, we have tested it in Kennystrut, our environment. This is how it will play out. Now you show us that once this is done, it can proceed to this next level. So I don't know whether you understand the general perspective, what I'm trying to paint.
Yeah.
The picture. Yeah, that's just it. I'm sure a $500,000 is somebody's. Okay, that just yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Engineer Bonaventure. That is well appreciated. I think I understand the area you are coming from. Yeah, I think for most of us in the AEC industry, in reality, I think the final, no matter how good your design is, I think the final product of whatever you do before it's gone is before it goes to site is on paper. So your mistakes, you can print like a million papers in some instances for revision, and you keep on printing paper, and that costs a lot of money. So I think I understand the area of where engineer Bonaventure is coming from. And please, if you agree with what engineer Bonaventure just raised as a critical problem, you can comment you can comment and you tell us your profession, the problem, and tell us if you agree to it or not, please. So thank you, Engineer Bonaventure, for that. That is well noted, I believe. I think we have Engineer Ahmed Quadri. You have the floor, engineer, please.
He's an architect, not an engineer.
Oh, sorry. Please, I apologize, everyone. I
Yeah,
apologize.
it's all fine.
Then I have to
We all dive down to the engineering
before we start,
field.
before I give engineer Ahmed the floor, I have to just chip in that I have a personal beef. I'm a civil engineer, but I have a personal beef with architect. I'm telling you here. I have
It's fine.
personal beef with you, but then not with the shark. So you have the floor. Let's have the problem you've noted.
Yeah. I just in addition to what Bonaventure said, I think his constraints are very valid, but it's not something that is not solvable. One of the major bottlenecks to that is the people at the top actually accepting that they have to go digital, and which you have to do a lot of work to put them in place. You can introduce them to platforms such as what design review. Design review will help with digital markup and all. But the data aside, I think I just put three things that bottlenecks on our side: workflow, policy, and skill. The workflow of the organization, how wherever you meet yourself, you have to adapt to it. And if the workflow is not um, if your workflow says you have to print at some point, I'm sorry, you have to print, except if the management is looking to take a decision or take a bigger step on that. Also, the policy, if there are no policies that are in place to guard or to drive your development, then you're stuck there also. So, and then the skill, are people actually able to rise up to that level of going digital? Do they actually know the need, or and do they have the skill and the knowledge about it? So that's just my own conjecture. And also, I just want to say that I think it's also possible that you can have a project run without printing once, because I actually just finished a project that ran for about 5 years, and I didn't go to site with say, drawing sheets. So thank God for their invention of tablets and all. So I did not see the need to actually go to the site with any drawing sheet. I can imagine how many sheets I would have carried to that site. So yeah, I think it's high time we begin to embrace the benefits of technology in our profession. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Ahmed Quadri. Your insights are much appreciated. As Kenny noted, okay, Kenny, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ahmed Quadri, architect Ahmed Quadri, and thank you, Bonaventure. I really appreciate you guys' contribution. I just want to say this: we would also like you, everyone, to contribute insights about the technical issues, like all those ones that you experience, those issues you experience whenever you are working. For example, I know for architects, many architects don't like the process involved in creating material schedules. And at times, material schedules now, at times they need it to be associated with to maybe a manufacturer or something. All of those processes takes a lot of time, and I think it's a technical issue that needs to be resolved. We would like to hear stuff like that from everyone as it relates to what you do. We understand that paper and digitization is an issue, but there are existing technologies that kind of solves that. You can have a tablet and you have a marker, you get, or a tablet that has a pen attached to it, and you can just comment there. It's also digitization. You get the gist. So we want to hear those technical issues that affects the way you work and affects productivity. If you have to deliver a project in 2 days, what are those things that you do on a daily basis that affects you and prevents you from delivering that project in that stipulated time, 2 days? We really like to know those things too. Thank you very much. It cuts across all professions. Well, thank you very much. I will be expecting our feedbacks.
Yeah, thank you, Kenny. We are still on this particular question. I believe we have other professionals here who would like to talk about critical problems that affect their productivity at work. So we are still taking insights, taking responses. I see my your guys at the top here. I can see Akete Pamela. I'm expecting insights from Akete Pamela. I can see Engineer Yomide Akinri and Ade. I'm expecting insights from everyone. I can see Engineer Oloyede doing. Yeah, these are industry giants who know what we are talking about, who at some point in their career have faced some problems that they know can be solved, and we are ready to solve them. So please let us indicate, let's indicate by raising our hands. Okay, okay, okay. Let me raise this particular issue since no one wants to speak about it. Okay. Engineer, I don't know, engineer architects. Let me just say office.
The Hafiz.
Okay. You have the floor, please.
Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm Builder Hafiz. I'm a building engineer, but let's just say builder. But currently I'm doing my master's in Loughborough University. I'm studying construction project management with building information modeling. So based on my experience while I worked in Nigeria, the major problem I feel that affect productivity is fragmentation, like over the wall approach. Most people in Nigeria, most construction company, or maybe the one I work in, they don't use automation like BIM softwares. So they have to, like, for example, if an architect have to make a change in a drawing, everyone will have to wait for him to finish, then pass it on to the next person to make corrections. So there are a lot of reworks and all that, and I think that's one of the reasons that leads to delays, and it's quite costly as well. So integrating, like using BIM softwares, will make productivity better at work, and everyone can in real time, everyone can see the changes instead of waiting for one person to finish and all that. So that's my view on that. And I'm actually doing a research on my dissertation topic is on the role of AI and machine learning in enhancing construction productivity. So I'll also be doing a focus group study. I actually reached out um to Kenny concerning it. So yeah.
Well, that was nice. Builder fees. That's great. Thank you for the inputs. Yeah, the issue of fragmentation, I think it's something I find interesting a lot. And
Yes.
there's these arguments I always put forward whenever I want to talk about issues like this. I used to tell people that for an industry where the final product, our final deliverable, is a monolithic structure.
Mm,
What I mean is, you have to deliver a building at the end of the day. But I
yeah.
think we work so much in fragments and so much silos that at the end of the day, I don't think we are not working the way we are meant to work. The collaboration is tends to zero. Let
Yeah,
me
exactly.
that
That's the major problem.
tends to zero, and I think it's a very very big one. Thank you. We've
Yeah.
taken up that. So, Engineer Oluyode Nurudeen, my guy at the top, sir. Good afternoon. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, please, can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, sir.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
And
afternoon, sir.
I am actually privileged to be amongst people discussing this kind of issue at this point in our profession. So well done, great work to the team. Here's digital. So quick one. I've actually noted some points I would like to discuss. I have few of them, and I'll be starting from these are actually personal issues that when I was a site engineer, I faced this issue personally, and I know majority of we site engineers we must have faced it at one point in time. whether we like it or not, yeah, with as much as possible digitalization that is coming in place, there are still some traditional things in place, and we can just put a bit of digitalization into it. First is when it comes to procurement, there are issues in which you won't know some materials are already getting exhausted, and you just notice that the way you need those materials, you get to site and notice those things are not in place, and you get to like start rushing in on getting bags of cement around, calling for sand at the dire minute of when your casting is about to take place. So something like procurement, maybe an app or a software that will keep prompting you that this material is getting finished, and maybe a program that tells you on maybe that goes to material schedule that Kenny mentioned earlier. You know the quantity of cement you need this particular day that you want to cast. So that particular program will be connected to your store that notifies you that this cement is this. If you need to get more, you'll be prompted like 2 days ahead, so you can plan for that. So still on procurement, it's probably a machine learning app, an app that is integrated with machine learning that can do counting for you, because we there are some sites that we have logs of materials, a lot of it that it may take a lot of time for you to do the counting. So maybe if you have a sensor in your program, I can just look at the stack of cement and tell you the numbers rather than taking time on counting the cement every day, because it's a common thing for storekeepers. You tell them to go and count cement, and they may be so unlucky at some point and miss out some numbers. So I think if that can be done too, it's also a great point. Another one is quality assurance and quality control checklist. This is a big problem in the profession. As much as everyone tries to like keep everything in check, there will still be one thing, one person is missing. And this is not to like say we are not doing our job right, but it's just that sorry, I'm back here.
Yes, sir.
So for quality assurance and quality control checklist, it's more like a program. I don't know if it's a mobile app or a web app that will best do this. Those things that you need to check before you start your work, before approvals will take place, from reinforcement to concrete to batching to cube testing. At some point, you just forget one of them. It's a common thing. It's not like you wish to do it, it just happen. Maybe taking of cube samples, maybe your mix ratio, just a guideline app and tends to like alert you as well. And maybe it shouldn't be something that is only you that should have it, your project manager should have it as well. Then the third one, mentioning the project manager, is the project management software. We are aware about the Primavera and Microsoft projects, and those things takes a bit of experience to be able to develop it. But how about we create something that you know, maybe you just have an idea of what's in place in, or should I say, the processes of doing a particular project. Okay, you want to cast a thing now. What are the processes in place? Or you want to build a bungalow. Just maybe you give a prompt. Okay, you want to do this. So these are the things you need to do. And from experience, you may do this in 2 3 days. Although this particular one would need an experienced person to still kind of edit it. But if you can give a breakdown of processes in place before getting those things done, it also goes a long way. So majorly, those are the four things I would like to share, and I hope we'll be able to get one of it to happen. Well done to the team once again. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Engineer Nuruddin. I think you made very, very, very solid points regarding procurement, quality assurance, and project management. I think we've taken note of those particular problems you've highlighted. I think we have Engineer Yomide Akinadisa. You have the floor. Can you meet yourself and speak, sir? Engineer Yomide.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I don't know if anybody can hear me. There's a bit
Yeah, we
of
can hear you.
network issues.
Can hear you clearly.
Oh, wonderful. All right. So my name is Ayomide. I'm a structural engineer at Constructor 18. And my contributions are going to be coming towards productivity, or rather my workflow, you understand, in the area of building design. So I have two problems I would like to talk about. Not really problems, but something I find could actually be done faster with the technologies that we have today. For instance, so let's say I get an architectural design, right? And probably I have to make the structural design for it. I have to conceptualize the structural members, place the beams, the columns. Probably the slabs not going to be an issue, but just the arrangement of the beams and columns. Now it becomes an issue when I have multiple projects on my desk and I have to work on them all at the same time, probably in less than a week. Is it possible, for instance, depending on the suited application that the designer is using, is it possible to create a software plugin, you know, so that can actually automate or decide where structural elements, such as columns especially, can be placed in buildings, you understand, which actually alleviates the time that a designer has to spend. So whereas it could give you one option, it could give you another option, could give you suggestions as well. So it's just something I've been looking at for a while actually. And the second problem that I've identified is one that has to do with app integration. We have a lot of app integration tools depending on the software you're using. For instance, Revit to robots, Revit mostly for documentation, robots for structural analysis. And they have an integration where they send results back into Revit, that's robots I'm talking about. But more or less, I feel like this information can be more refined for making decisions in within the documentation software, which is Revit. Would there be a way, for instance, let's say I get, let's say the loader is going to a column, and then when it gets into Revit, I have something like an application or plugin that can suggest, you know, section sizes without me having to necessarily do the design in, let's say, my design application, which is robot. So those are just two things that I'm looking at the moment. So I just wanted to give my contribution on that.
Wow. Wow. Those are wonderful insights. Thank you, Engineer Yomide. I think we've taken note of that. Thank you as well. Much appreciated. So I think you have Engineer Ugo Nobert. You have the floor, Engineer, sir. Engineer architect, I'm not sure.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hmm?
I'm Engineer Benjamin, MEP engineer, the project manager. All right. So, I from the conversation I've heard so far, I think everybody is trying to see how they can basically optimize their workflows. Clearly, we we all have the same goal. So I'll be also looking at it from the perspective of an MEP engineer. Um, I understand that most of the things we do basically have empirical formulas, and they basically follow a particular sequence of workflow, even if at some point you now have to adding your own ingenuity or touch to it, as the case may be. But generally, there's always an empirical formula to it. For me, looking at it from an electrical engineer's perspective, sorry if you hear my toddler on the background. She's with me. Daddy, daddy sitting at home today. so, so
It's fine, fine.
now, for me, I would like to see a situation where, for me, my challenge mostly is around lighting designs, right? I know how, very, very specialized that area of work can be, but then again, if we look at basically the structures that we do, whether a residential building, a commercial building, or industrial building, it is basically the same workflow process. So like the previous engineer just said, just not so long ago, I would really like to see a situation whereby either a plugin or even a software can, when you load in a particular architectural design, and you select a particular lighting manufacturer, or selected a theme, or a style of lighting, the software can easily suggest to you, some concepts of lighting, in which can now help you to now minimize the amount of time you put into, positioning and, mapping out and all the like, so that, one can easily go through the process of conceptualization and, do the nitty-gritty of engineering. So for me, it's time. Time is of the essence. So if we could see a software in that regard, whether be it for lighting design, whether be it for plumbing design, even for HVAC design, I know some of these, areas of MEP works are, have their own specialized software and the likes. But then again, the automation of some of these works would really help, in enhancing, we saving time at the same time, churn out very quality designs at the end of the day. So time is really of the essence. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Engineer Benjamin. Thank you. We've noted that. Engineer Oluyede's hand is still raised up. Is it that engineer wants to say something else? Engineer Nurudin. Okay. So we've had great insights from top engineers this afternoon. Okay. So do we still have anyone that wants to contribute to a critical problem that affects their productivity at work? Do we still have anyone? Okay, Engineer Ayola
Yeah.
John, please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
I'm a structural engineer. I worked in Nigeria for almost 17 years. I'm currently in the UK working as a structural engineer. I just quickly want to comment about one of the requests of Engineer Yomide that says you need a software, or are there softwares that can auto-generate member sizes, to ease design process time and all that. I want to say that most of the structural engineering softwares we use, for instance, Start Pro and Tekla structural designers and some others, have auto design mode, which means once you have done your model for the structure and you have applied the loads, you can command the software to give you auto member sizing such that you don't need to think about member selection on your own. So if you do such auto member sizing and you feel they are too big, or you check the capacity utilization ratio of those members, what I mean by that is that when you select a member, when you design a structure, the software will tell you what percentage of the capacity or the strength of that member has been used under such loading. So for instance, out of 100%, you have a percentage of 60%. It's usually in a ratio of 0 to 1. So say 0.6. 0.6 means that 60% capacity of the member has been used under this loading. So if you auto design and you feel like, oh, this utilization ratio is low, you can now manually select a member. Maybe you want to use 70% strength of the member. You cannot manually select the member size that you want. So the point I want to drive out here is that, most of the softwares we have currently, Start Pro and a lot of others that do structural analysis and design, most of them have auto design mode, such that the software can select member sizes for you automatically. But if you're not satisfied with the selection, you can now change to manual mode, select your member, and redesign. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Ayola, sir. Thank you for that beautiful input. Engineer Gringa, Engineer Architect, just forgive me, please. You have the floor, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone on the call. Good afternoon to my senior colleagues. I've listened to everybody speak and make that contribution. So I don't know. I'll be moving slightly away from the design perspective. I am a civil engineer and I work in the downstream oil and gas sector. So I have some challenges that we face on a day-to-day, or let me say project-based problems, as it were. So first one is I would really like if we have a solution or a platform, as it were, that allows maybe vendors or contractors or the small or startup construction companies if we have like a platform that enables them to, okay, we need all the materials for us to, do this construction at maybe say locations outside Lagos, somewhere in the north, somewhere in the south, somewhere in the east, and I want to get materials. So most times you don't really have all those materials, spread out in these locations. So sometimes you have those materials majorly in Lagos, maybe Abuja, sometimes Port Harcourt. Maybe a platform that enables these guys to be able to pick up everything that they need, everything that they need, and help them transport that thing from point A to point B effectively. So for example, I need to get materials for MEP. I need to get materials for, maybe for my facade, etc., etc., etc. I get all these things from vendors, and I just get a platform that gives me the kind of vehicle, maybe a car, a sedan, a van, a truck that just enables me to pick up all these materials and move them from point A to point B. So my second challenge, which is very, very practical, in fact, this is a challenge that I've faced for the past 2 weeks. So, in the oil and gas sector, we are moving, or the president has been able to lead us that, okay, let's reduce our dependency on PMS. So everybody's going to gas, CNG, LPG, etc., etc. So, and one of the challenges that comes with that is that, for you to be able to store gas, you need very large cylinders or very large tanks, as it were. So the major challenge is that getting a crane. So most of the construction activities happen in Lagos. So getting a crane to be able to put my, let's say, 60 MT or 100 MT LPG tank on a plinth, on a foundation in somewhere like Kebbi State or maybe Sokoto State is a challenge. I doubt if you are going to see that kind of crane in those kind of places. So sometimes it's very, very difficult. Another thing that will really help is if we can have a platform that shows, okay, I have a crane, I have this number of total cranes, maybe businesses that have these cranes or flatbeds as it's where they have these things, maybe in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Abuja, central locations as it's where. So it can be easy for me to plan. It can be easy for me to just call this person and say, okay, I need to so and so. This is the price. This is the time I need it. I had a location that it took us close to 3 weeks for us to get a crane to that location. And I mean, it delayed a whole lot of things, wasted everybody's time. And that's not just, it's not just a single location. It has happened in multiple locations. So it will be very exciting if it's something that we can look into. It's a personal problem of mine, of my organization as it were. I believe this problem might even be happening in other organizations. So I believe it's something that we can look into. I'm also interested, if we can even take the conversation, offline with you and your team. So basically, those are my problems and challenges. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Engineer Benga. Yeah, I think as you rightly said, you'll be surprised that a lot of people are actually experiencing the same thing you're experiencing. And if you don't speak out, you will not even know majority of the time. So, Engineer Kende.
Yeah,
Mr.
I just
Kende.
want to, Engineer Benga, please, can you drop your email so we can maybe deep dive on this particular problem you just mentioned, since you suggested we can have a one-on-one discussion about it. Thank you.
All right, that's fine.
So, the conversation does not end here. The conversation does not end here. I know there are a number of us who still have comments, insights on problems that they face at work. Some might be shy, some might feel they are students, and this is a sitting of the big boys. You can always reach out to us at KS Digital Innovations. You can always reach out personally to Kendi Ayobadi, myself, or David. We always will be available to take in whatever insights, whatever thing you want to share with us, and we can schedule the meeting. We can make anything work. Everything we are doing is to make sure we solve critical problems in the industry, our own problems, unique problems in the industry. And this will lead me to our next question for the day. So can you have shared our email? Is in the chat box, info@ksdigitalinnovations.com. You can find us also on LinkedIn, KS Digital. And so Kendi, I think we've in a way sorted this. Can you move to the question too, Kenny? Now, speaking of unique problems, speaking of unique solutions, I think this is a particular question where I know majority of us would take particular interest in. So the thing about most of the problems we listed is, I think about 50% they are existing problem. But what I've found out over a couple of weeks is that these problems, they are foreign solutions. And the issues I've always had with foreign solutions over time is they come with foreign costs. Autodesk, if you are using, how many of us on this call actually use Autodesk subscription for our Revit, prepare Revit as we go through the AutoCAD? Can we indicate by raising our hands or just emoji or something? How many of us on this call use paid subscription? Oh, can't everybody use paid coverage? He's a big boy. I'm not surprised.
Na joke, I'm joking.
So
I'm still a student.
Okay, Engineer Ahmed is using
Yeah,
paid subscription.
I know Architect Ahmed. He uses.
I mean, Architect Ahmed.
He's a big man.
Okay,
They are big people.
Engineer
Yes,
he's also using. Wow, that's nice. That's nice actually.
It's a good one.
I happen to work with an Autodesk partner in Nigeria here, and I know the dollars you have to pay. I know the amount of dollars you have to pay if you want to use these things. And sometimes I don't even blame those guys. I don't blame those guys that charge so much for it. The reason being is that they built it. They built whatever solution they are giving you in their country. Most of the talent, most of their labor force is in their country. The economy there is different from our economy here. So they will charge you according to where they build it from. You just expect me to build something like say $1,000, and because you're Africans, I say, okay, because you Africans are poor, let me sell it for you $200. Where's the business in it? And that's why through Contact Nigeria, we are pushing for our own based solutions that reflect the reality of our economy, solutions that we can easily purchase to solve the problem without need to crack or one thing or another thing. So for the question 3, are you willing to pay a token when a solution arrives? And what's the minimum token you feel you can let go of? Say monthly, for example. That okay, in a month, I want to pay this amount for this procurement software that solves the problem I'm facing at the industry perfectly. So we can comment in the chat box. We can unmute our mics to share with us. Okay, Ejide says he invested in the UK, subscribe to Autodesk. So you can share the comments and you can unmute yourself to share how much you are willing to pay. And is the idea of paying for this software, is it even a valid proposition? I would like to hear from us, please. Engineer, Surveyor QS Adedola calls him. I can see you, sir. I think this is where I want ADLM to come and speak on. ADLM, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I'm with you, sir.
Sir, your silence is disturbing. I've been waiting for you to say
No,
something.
I'm with you. I'm following.
For a while now.
No,
Are you willing to pay a token when solution arrives for probably a problem you've noticed and you want it to be solved? Are you willing to pay a token when the solution arrives? I'm specifically asking it earlier. And there is a reason why I'm asking. He knows why I'm asking.
Wow. It's a tricky question, and everyone on this call will now be biased.
Okay.
Because of my experience with the industry and being a developer also, and the work that has been put into developing the software. Honestly, the fact that many of us in Nigeria feel like software should be free. I'm speaking from experience as a trainer and a developer, where you would introduce softwares to the general public and they feel it's free. They feel it should be free, that, oh, as per this software, they want software to do this, and should be free. And it's frustrating sometimes when we look at it from the side of the developer. That's from my own side and perspective. Because softwares that we use to build softwares are not free. Someone like my pay for softwares, every software I use is being paid for. So from my own experience, I feel software should be paid for. Yes, there's a way it should be subsidized for because of our own economy. But
Definitely.
even with the level of subsidy that might be provided, it has to be paid for. It can never be for free because people did a whole lot of work to build software. The manpower, the time and dedication that it took to develop all of the software. Many of the solutions that everyone has highlighted during the call today are very, very good solutions that can be worked on. But the question should be, like you've asked already, how much are we willing to part ways with to achieve such solution? So, from my own perspective, just in summary, I feel software should be paid for and not for free. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very much. So I'm seeing nice comments that align to the way I actually think. I think Africa is saying it's worth paying for. People just need to see the benefits realistically. They need to see the long-term benefits because they shy away because of the initial cost of investment and implementation. Definitely. So I think for me, if I have a solution that um that probably reduces the amount I put into production. For example, like the issue Engineer Bonaventure raised earlier about paper. If I see a solution that takes that cost away from my table, I think for me, I'll be willing to invest in that kind of solution. So I think in my opinion, the issue of paying a token, it's just a matter of value. Do you find the solution valuable enough to pay for it? And I think that's part of the reasons why we're having this discussion this afternoon. We don't just bring a solution where that does not change anything, that does not, at the end of the day, when you do your addition and subtractions, there's no substantial change in whatever it is that is bringing. I'm definitely not paying for it. But when you tell me that, okay, this solution I'm bringing, it saves me like 20% of my project cost, I know ADLM will jump on it immediately. I'm sure, because he's a businessman, and a businessman, they know their numbers. So Ahmed Kodria is saying if the solution is tested and a reasonable token in the context of the environment it is being used, exactly, a reasonable token in the, like you charging say, okay, you telling Nigerian to pay $3,000 for AutoCAD, and I think that the price for AutoCAD is around that price. If you want to pay for subscription for AutoCAD, just AutoCAD, between $2,000 to $3,000. How many people in this place want to pay that kind of amount? They would rather crack the hell out of the AutoCAD than pay die for it. So yes, I think someone, yes, Ahmed Kodri. Yes, you have the floor. You can speak, please.
All right, thank you. I hear what you're saying, but I just want to ask something, and perhaps to the general audience listening. We're in an environment where there is very, very little value given to people that are actually doing the right things. For example, an office that spends close to 15, 16 million on softwares, and there's just another guy that's your competitor that they don't even spend at all. All they just do is just download some cracked um, software and use for their work. But you actually do this, you paid for the software and all, you're not giving so much value. How do you convince somebody like that to say, oh, okay, we are going into another solution again, and you want you to invest more? That's one. Also, we have something that is more or less like a culture kind of thing. there is a saying that if Henry Ford had asked people what they wanted, they would have said they wanted faster horses, not even vehicles. So similarly, it, it's taking us, and by us I mean people in Africa, sub-Saharan, people in our context, a longer time to adapt to new technologies because of the fear of the unknown, the fear of investing in the unknown. You're putting your money into what you do not understand. How do you intend to actually really convince people that okay, you have a new solution, you want them to put their money in, given that things that are even in vogue now, people are not even interested in it. I mean, BIM has been around since I think uh, late or middle 90s, and
Yes.
see when the AEC industry picked it up, see when the AEC industry in Africa now picked it up. So it's very challenging, but I just want to hear your feedback on it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, someone. Okay, Engineer Kitoye Oyelade, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me this. I just joined about 15 minutes ago.
Yes, sir.
And the contribution I want to make concerning this software is, I think it has to come in terms of policy. And I believe it should start from our regulatory body, maybe the NSC, current, and the rest of them, in the sense that, as the earlier speaker said, or maybe the second person that spoke on this matter, this found that ordinarily we want to use pirated software. The cost of procuring this, as we have mentioned, are very, very high. And as a client, people want to go for the least cost. So if there is no compelling reason, nobody will want to buy those software in this part of the world. Because when you are talking about a design, if the client is not insisting that you must use the correct software, maybe licensed one, once I can get the pirated one and do exactly the same job, why will I go for the original? Why should I go for it? But if there is a policy or something, also maybe our client is requesting for that, but remind you, it's going to increase the cost implication of those designs. And as long as we are not ready to pay for that cost, nobody will go for it. I know there are some companies in Nigeria that you cannot afford to use those pirated software in their offices because it's not allowed. And sometimes they are not ready to subscribe for it. So you have to do your job outside the office using the pirated one and bring out the result. So it might be a long walk for us to get to the point in this part of the world whereby we have to be using the correct thing. Because if you are not forced, if it's not demanded, nobody will want to use it. Ordinarily, because the cost implication is so high in this part of the world, and there is no regulation, there is no client, there is no offices that is requiring it as such that you must use the correct one. As long as it doesn't know that, take for instance, no, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do the right thing, except there is a compelling reason for us to. So if the Mobi or our clients are requiring that you have to use the correct software, license one, then some few companies will have no choice than for them to obey. But I don't think there's any companies that actually is requiring that presently. I may be proved wrong, but I don't know of any now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful insight, sir. We appreciate that. Kenny, you were raising your hand the other time. Kenny.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Architect Ahmed Quadri, and thank you, Mr. Akintoye. Sorry, I did not get your title. Yeah, I really appreciate the contributions, and those are key contributions. I've always had this notion of this paying for software is a cultural barrier, and it has eaten deep into the fabric of our culture. It's not something we can easily eradicate. Not paying for softwares. We can't easily eradicate it from the system. So we have been trying to understand what model will work. For example, now, you would understand with me that as a tech startup going into the business of creating technology, we need to make money from this business. So, what kind of advice? Because really, why we ask this question is because we want to know what our end users will be willing to pay to be able to use for them to get the value we are providing. Of course, we won't build that. We won't build softwares or products that are not needed in the industry. That's why we're having meetings like this or webinars like this. So, how much will our end users be willing to part way with on a monthly basis? If you observe, I dropped a question on the chat box and I put options there where price options 100 naira to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000. Why we want to get this information is because we want to know what we are ready, what we want to battle with, because we know this culture thing is going to really hit us on the head. So we want to know from everyone: is it that I want to be paying something that I would not feel on a monthly basis, or is it that I want to get value, but I don't want to pay at all, or is it I want to get value and I'll pay what I think I can afford? So we really want to get that insight. For us, it's data, and that will help us drive the decision of how we charge for the products we are building. Of course, the goal is to make it very affordable within the context of our economy and the reality of how things are now. So, but we really need to know from everyone what it is that they are able to afford. Just think about that problem and the kind of solution you want for it, and tell us from your own heart of heart how much you are willing to pay. It's just data for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Architect Ahmed. I can see that I'm seeing people putting three. Option three there might. I feel, to be honest, we are not. We need to be sincere about our answers. I believe that many of us would not pay for it. Okay, if you look at, let's do the maths. Let's quickly do the maths. Let's say the average salary of an architect, an engineer, let's say entry level or what have you, because we definitely will build solutions that everybody will be able to use. The average salary, let's say it's 100. Thank you, architect Ahmed. Average salary is like 100,000 naira. And if a user wants to be paying for a software that is helping him kill 8 hours of work that he will do on a weekly basis, it means that okay, if someone wants to pay for as in for a productivity tool that cuts out 8 hours of work, it means that they are willing to pay something that they can afford. Someone paying 100,000 and being paid 100,000 naira, to be honest, will not want to pay 10,000 naira for any tool or any software. Of course, you have to think around. You have family to feed. You have maybe bills to pay. So there are some things that are not just realistic. So many of us are giving this pricing because we believe we can. But if we put you in that situation, I can bet it that many of us would not be willing to, because we know economic realities of this country. Someone said less than option one if possible. That's usually the culture. Nobody wants to pay, but there should be something that we are willing to pay, even if it is, yeah. Though that is not the core of what we are trying to talk about. We want to gather data about the problems, and eventually, as we grow, we will understand what the industry needs. Yeah. But we really also need to understand the pricing structure that we need to adopt for our tools. So thank you. As we keep engaging you guys, we will make sure that we gather this data and utilize them for our decisions. Thank you.
QS Adedolapo, ADLM wants to, he has raised up his hand. You have the floor, sir. ADLM.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Taiwo. Thank you, Kenny. It's just a lot to add to what Kenny has said earlier about the pricing structure. I think about a week ago, we launched the Plan Swift plugin at AJLM, and it was more of a subscription thingy. This was because when we did like a survey, we realized that nobody wants to pay over 100,000 for a software. Now imagine a software that took 8 to 9 months before we could get it done and get it out there to public. And we charge probably says okay for the work we've done, no, we want to even charge 1 million or 2 million from people. Nobody wants to pay for it, and at the end of the day, we'll build for our pocket alone. A software that automates the quantity surveying process, that's the quantity takeoff part of our work, and does your material scheduling in less than few minutes. By the time we launched it, and we did our survey, we launched the subscription fee, a monthly subscription fee of 7,000. I would say some people are still complaining within this industry that 7,000 naira is too much. So for those that are putting, they are saying they can pay more than 10,000. Yes, it's very easy to say now until that solution is around and realize when some people start doing their plus and minus, they realize that they can't even pay up to 5,000 or up to 10,000 for softwares as individuals. And the beauty of this software that was created at ADLM was because we want to save individual time. Now imagine you are supposed to use like 2 3 weeks to prepare bills of quantity, and you're preparing bills and material schedule in less than 1 or 2 days. That's like the beauty of it. But even after launch, people are still saying it's too expensive at 7,000. So I'm bearing this in mind. I would like us to just have this at the back of our mind, and probably we should everyone should come up with a realistic amount that they can part way with, probably based on their salary structure or something. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, DLM. Thank you, Kenny. So in addition to what both guys said, Kenya and ADLM, I think it's time for the industry in Africa and Nigeria. It's time for us to face the reality. The future of technology that we use is becoming kind of paid in a way. If you've noticed, every technology solution is moving to a cloud infrastructure. I don't know if you've noticed it. Everything. And I tell you, very soon, this ChatGPT that all of us we are relying on, very soon you just find out that one day, when they find out that we can't really do without them, they put a price on it. And that's why it's nice we have the conversation now. So that builders that are ready to build for our economy, as I said earlier, for our country, for our continent, they can know how they can structure their pricing to fit us perfectly before we are forced to pay thousands of dollars. Like even against all our projects. Like how many people do projects and they earn $5,000 in a year in Nigeria, to be realistic? To be realistic, in 2024, how many of us say okay, we made $5,000 from projects? And not tell me not to use $5,000 to buy a software, because somehow you can't do without it. And if you can't use it, you can't do the project. That's the reality of it. I think we are at the point where we have to start having these hard discussions ourselves. The future of technology and everything the future is not cracking up software. We are getting to an age where everything is moving. We are moving everything to the cloud. Everything is going to the cloud. Your AutoCAD, let me break it to you. Your AutoCAD is now on the cloud. I rarely even use the normal software application. I use AutoCAD on the cloud most times now because I use a PDEC subscription provided by my company. It's not for me, provided by my company, please. I can't afford it too. So it's time to have the hard discussion. So engineer Bayomi David, you have the floor, sir. The engineer architect. Okay. I thought he raised his hand. Oh, yes. Okay. So, do we still have any contribution?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you now.
I didn't know I was muted now.
Oh.
So I said initially I just wanted to listen from my orgas because I'm not a programmer. I'm just a civil engineer, structural engineer precisely. So, but what I would just say is, in all honesty to ourselves, is the fact that the culture of Nigeria is what we've all make emphasis on that, and we really need to pay attention to that. Our culture is We like using things for free. It's as simple as that. Even if you ask people to part away with 1,000, there are people that won't want to do it. It's that simple. But because which I'm still going to have a conversation with some of them, I'm thinking of coming up with some ideas, and maybe I'm going to discuss with Engineer Kenny. The thing is, I think the way what I'm seeing is Africa becoming like the China, like Nigeria becoming the China of Africa, and at a point we're going to go globally. And what that simply means is that it's we becoming patriotic ourselves. It means that the decision for us to use our own software is a decision, not because we don't have alternative. Until we see it that way, because if most, as people have said, a lot of energies have been put into this software. These things take a lot of energies. Yes, we are saying we have a family to feed. Those programmers also have a family to feed. So it's just our decision to say, yes, we want, because all these new softwares are coming up. Is it Prota we want this software going to competing with? Is it the BMAS that we're already used to? Is it even the Tekla TED, those simple ones that people are already used to? And people are able to find this thing, the crack versions, for free. And these are Nigerians are now saying we need to have our own home-based built software. And when I mean home-based built software, it's not necessarily local people that stay in Nigeria only. And that's why we need to look at it in the global perspective. I've discussed one time with Kenny. I've told him about there's somebody I used to say, my name is Henry. He usually say something like that. They build Civil Soft series. It's not based in Nigeria. So it's for us to see how those people can become also patriotic, like those international people and those locally can become so patriotic that all of us, like Engineer Ayo is here. Say, I think he said it's from UK or USA. Like we are all having this strong conversation. As you said, ChatGPT, for instance, if ChatGPT had come and he's putting money, I'm sure average of us will not be using ChatGPT. But you made a very valid point. As even despite that ChatGPT is it's international, all of that, they made it free and a paid version for a purpose. And you said something. You said maybe in the future, ChatGPT now they see that we are very used to it and they put money into it. That's the strategy. And that's the strategy, but it's just that because of it's so difficult, and I'm going to still try because it takes real deep thinking and deep strategy to find a solution to this. Because we also as Nigeria must see how do we push these things for free to a point that people get used so much to it, or else people will find the crack versions for free and use. And when they get so much used to the local stuff and policies are being made by the regulatory body to support the local software, that means the AEC tech people must have a strong relationship with the regulatory body, the COREN and the NSE, trying to push the agenda that local developed softwares are used alongside with their international software. So as more idea come, I'm definitely going to try to reach out to, so I don't take a lot of time, but as I said, it's our culture. And it's a culture that we should not just say the president is bad or whatever. It's even us as people to decide I want to be patriotic, and we are seeing Nigeria as the China of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Engineer Abayomi David. As I've reiterated since we began this conversation, this conversation does not end here. We don't expect just one webinar to solve all the problems, but it's good we've started. Then gradually, together, we'll build a model that works for us. That will be as simple as a very good example I haven't forgot to even make when we started is the issue of the fintechs. Now imagine, no, I used to make a joke with Kenny. Imagine if it's PayPal or one international, one USA-based fintech that is in charge of our transactions, and they charge us to transact in dollars. Do you know how painful it will actually be? So I believe for fintech to act that business model and they are successful in it, I think it's just a matter of time for construction technology solution providers in Nigeria too. I think it's just a matter of time for them to act it. And at the end of the day, every one of us will benefit from it. So engineer, architect, I don't know, Abdul Fattah Itunde Lawal, sir, you have the floor.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, So I have an engineering background. I'm engineering solution. I try to be an engineering solution provider. Well done, everyone. Very good conversation. I would just like to talk a bit from, of course, a lot of what all of us observe in consuming the product of every other person. Not particularly like I'm not a builder in terms of solution builder, but of course we consume, and so we know we have a first-hand experience. So a bit of my ideas I've put it in as a message, and I will just read from that and continue from there. That there are quite a number of components to consider in terms of pricing, and whether it's software in terms of service, whether it's a good in terms of a factory, tangible, physical product. Pricing is something that businesses always have to calibrate and recalibrate to ensure they get what we call a market fit. And that market fit eventually comes in when your customers believe they're able to get value from your products. So you definitely have those that, no matter the level of market fit you get, will never pay a dime. There are people that would. So there are people that will remain like that, and there are people that, even while you are growing through each layer, they'll keep paying to ensure you get to the destination. And we all know the way Prota got to the level it is right now. They were not perfect, but they had people that were paying, and those that were running on cracks, they were not going after those on cracks. They were just focusing on those that were paying. And with each payment, they kept scaling and improving the options. I can tell you for free that Prota is easily pass for a low price version of Tekla Structural Designer. No. We all know that Tekla Structural Designer is still remaining where it is, but Prota keeps, okay, you guys are here with me, deal with my bugs though, but chapter pay me the small money you can pay me. And gradually they're improving. The same thing with the China model, like someone that explained earlier, where they started off in the 90s when we were going on, China toys were known to be crap. And gradually, as they were selling them out at cheap price, they were having money to pour back in to improve the system. So what I'm trying to say here is summarily is pricing. Each product that is being produced would eventually most likely start off from how KS started. For a large portion, at least I was silently observing the growth of KS Digital, starting with the block plugins, the free, giving samples to people to use before you went all the way into the store, into the Autodesk store. All of those are part of the natural trajectory. It will get to a point where categorically those that would value you and that have been consistently using you will be able to part away with some money. But the perspective that I see here is this: is that do we have what you can easily call those that will fund you through that process to get to that point? That is a very important thing. There are very few people that will give the kind of solid backing to KS Digital the way the mentorship he has received has given him. And I can tell you for free that if perhaps KS Digital would have had a longer duration of growth if he did not have the level of mentoring and support from a particular person that I'm also aware about. So everybody would need to have every solution that wants to make a dent on the market space needs to have what you call a back support, a spine that would let you go through that process. In absence of that spine, the truth about it is, in terms of the network, in terms of cracking a code to how you eke out a revenue or a source of a price for it, product pricing and fit, it will be very hard. So by and large, using the fintech model, people churn through what you call all the startup raise. They burn through a whole lot of funds at the early stages in order to get market fit and to also get into the market. So really, I wouldn't say you should be so much bothered about if people will be able to afford or if they want to pay. I can tell you for free that for a product, if a product comes locally, that is locally made, that will make the few subscribers to Prota Structure, the few local subscribers that pay $1 to Prota, if we find a product made locally that will collect Naira, I'll give half the feature of Prota. Nigerians will dump Prota because of what the benefit that Naira has done, the devaluation has done to the value of Naira. So I'm giving a measure. If a product that chooses to niche down like Prota don't even look at the steel component, just the concrete component. If it gives half of the feature of what the concrete component gives, and it comes asking for half the price that Puta asks, forget those that will run the crack version. You'll be able to move half of those that are paying that dollar into your pocket. So for me, I would like for the builders to focus on building and to focus on having those that can fund their building, fund them through the building. Nothing valuable comes cheap. And KS Digital has done a lot to show a lot to show that. I see his post where he says, "Oh, aside from me coding, I also am on the field. I'm doing this, I'm doing that." The truth about it is, if you don't have one Baba Sale somewhere that can really say, "See, take this money and just lock yourself in and don't step out," you will have to be stepping out to be able to lock yourself in. So, if there is a way, I think you can think about if there's a way you can create a back spine. Maybe I don't want to use the word VC, venture capitalist, because they have their own demerits. If you can think of a way that you can have what's the word now, angel investors, those that will give you funds and that will not look forward to you making a profit. If you can have a pool of that, and then for every solution you're getting, you pitch to them and they look within their stash of funds and say, "Oh, we can put this without hoping to get something back." But once you get to a particular point, then perhaps you can now start saying, "Oh, we are looking forward to VCs." So tangibly, we need to be able to have that supporting spine to allow people to focus on building, such that if you build a product like how Mr. Cousin mentioned, that he built a product for around 9 months, that 9 months for somebody without a job in this current Nigeria, you go chop sand. You go to chop sand. So if you have somebody somewhere that just says, "See, sit down that 9 months, I will pay you the amount that you ought to pay if you're on field, and just keep cracking at it." Now, ordinarily, what that person is doing is paying it forward. And once you get market fit of maybe half the service rendering that a dollar demanding product gets, the demands from you, you will see that you start migrating people in. Then secondly, the other thing I want to mention, three things. That's sorry for taking time on one. Two is that eventually the market will get to a competitive stage. So I would want us not to look at it so much as a thing of, okay, we are all in the same boat. At a particular point, KS Digital is spearheading a particular channel. On the streets, a barber opens shop once. By the end of the year, there will be 3 barber shops on that street.
Yeah.
And automatically what that gives rise to is competition. And the part of us trying to look for a digital model, pricing model that works now, would start appearing near infeasible, no longer a balanced convention, because the next person is looking for how I would rise in the market and get the market share. And so at that point, you start having people dropping their prices here and there, and also the foreign software vendors too, seeing what's happening locally, they'll be tumbling over. So it's a very long conversation, and it's something that gives back to number 1 point, having what you call a central spine. Each person that wants to develop a software, that wants to develop a solution, needs to think through and say, "Oh, do I have the war chest to burn through?" Initially, at this point, right now, I see the free market locally for local solutions. I can tell a quick civil series has been the only guy. He started off locally before he exported himself to UK, and has been giving us UK number to try to use to make us I feel is overseas. He's our brother for me in Nigeria. We know him, is we. So, but tangibly, I can tell you, while he's there, he's also still dealing with the same we here that are getting that same software and getting Indians or the Filipinos to crack it for us. He's still having to deal with that. So if we approach this thing, is fundamentally, like I keep telling people, in my own perception, a lot of things that we do, it's very easy for each new generation to feel they are doing something new. What we are doing is we are doing the same thing but in a different fashion. So categorically, we are trying to carve a niche or make a dent in what is existing, substituting foreign products with local products. If we need to go out with an all-out commercial mindset, it's very, very important. If there's somebody who chooses to want to do it as a freelance, as a CSR, as a contributory thing, there's some people that also come up with that model, because as we are right now, perhaps I see KS and Ayobade, if he's able to hit the ground running and make some level of income on perhaps on his ventures. I see him as somebody perhaps in the next 10 years that may not have an issue dropping some of his tools out for free. At that point, anybody that is trying to come out in that 10 years time will categorically have a challenge having to deal with him dropping his solutions for free. So, but then if you come out with a commercial mindset, you set out your goals and know that, oh, I have a stash of fund, or I'm all out just to prepare tools and send out to people. I don't intend to make profits from it. That perspective is one. Or perspective of secondly, realizing that fundamentally it's a commercial product. And then every aspect that a commercial entity, a normal service provider that they have, everybody who is going down that line will realize that they would eventually have to evolve to have all those units. Then everybody will start moving towards that direction. And then not forgetting that right now we are going as a single wave, but a time will come when that wave will start breaking and there'll be multiple fronts and everybody trying to chat that, no, I'll be the leading. Yeah. So Prota is coming to break the ranks of Tekla. And the Tekla structural designer is just looking at like still saying, I still got a foothold. While there's still Midas. Midas is still somewhere there from India. And yeah, now you know the way Indians are in terms of tech solution. They are they have an army way more than our population. So let's look at it. Let's look from the commercial perspective. While you're iterating, it's good enough to give people feel of to understand what they're getting. The same way KF Digital is growing. It's a growth. But let's not feel that what we are doing will be anything different from traditional products or service rendering. Once we go with that mindset that traditional products, we need to realize that we need to have a marketing team. We need to have a spine that would push us forward, and all of those entities. Let's start looking into Autodesk. What makes it tick? There's a guy. Pardon me, I'm saying a lot. There's a guy that is spearheading. He started off spearheading an open source solution. Kennedy knows the guy. He's following him also. What's that his name? Jesus something. This guy's from
Antonio.
Yes, Antonio and co. Thank you very much.
That open company.
Yes, that open company. They started off as that open company, but right now you see what's going on. they've modified into a paid platform. So it's a journey that naturally you just realize that, oh, it appears like, oh, okay, there's something that you are not that traditional, but then eventually all of businesses realize after starting up, they have to settle into a traditional core. So if you are able to categorically at this point realize that traditional business components needs to be in place and starting them, looking at them from that perspective, it's to make the journey easier, especially when you have a spine behind. I hope I'm able to put all my different parts together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And that was very informative and deep. You sound more like a business person. I'm trying my best to figure out who you are for you to have such information about me. I'm still trying to check LinkedIn. It's interesting.
Yeah, in our faces, don't worry.
I shout a lot. Thank you. I don't know if I've exposed myself that way. So thank you very much. I noted a lot of things that you said, and definitely it's worth implementing. We are going to go back and look at as a deep dive into all the things you suggested, and hopefully we get remarkable results from them. So thank you very much, sir. Once again, thank you to everyone that has contributed so far. We have this question now. This particular question, I don't know. We can take it as a poll. You can just once you can see the two options. It's actually three options. The question is what's most important for you now? Is it a plugin that integrates with the existing tools you use at your work that you use for your work, or a standalone solution that solves a specific problem or the specific problem that you are currently facing? We would like to know. Or you want both of them? You can just type in the comments and just type either plugin, standalone, both. So there are three options that you could type in. Options, let me just type it. Question 4 options. I would really like us to comment on that. Plugin, Okay, we are already getting answers, and please, I would like all of us to contribute. It will help us a lot because from my own point of view, there are lots of basically we have tools that we are already using for our day-to-day work, and many of us don't want any wheel reinventing. You don't want us to reinvent the wheel. Of course, I've been getting a lot of advice that goes against that. Reinventing the wheel is not what people want now. So many of them are saying, real people are saying this, but I really want to hear from us. Do we need plugins to these existing tools, or we need standalone solutions that would set us apart as a country, or that makes us competitors, join the world leaders, compete on the world stage, or you want both of them? So of course, depends on. Thank you, Bonaventure. Depends on the problem we are solving. That's why I said a standalone solution that solves a specific problem, or that specific problem that you are experiencing. It depends, and usually most of the problems we face are attached to the work we are already doing. You get, and the softwares we are already using. So many of us might tilt towards plugins. Some of us might take towards we need a standalone solution. For example, we want our own Revit, because maybe, of course, Autodesk will never consider us when it comes to pricing. We need our own Revit. You get, I've thought about that. A lot of people have said that. One big architecture company here in Lagos, I'm in contact with. I speak to the CEO a lot, and they said, I think we need to come together as an industry and look for how we can invest into maybe a a technology provider, a startup that is willing to create our own Revit for us. You get, and then use our own kind of pricing that fits our economic reality. You get, so we might need a standalone solution to kill this whole pricing issue. So I really like us to comment, please. I've only gotten one, two, three, four. We've gotten just four. We really like to know your answers. We have 16 other people on this call. Please contribute. Thank you. And please don't forget. Sorry, don't no, I have not mentioned it before. I pinned a chat on the chat box here. It's our community. We want you to join our wait list. While we are responding to question 4, we want you to join our wait list. We are already building certain products. We want every one of us here to be part of that building process. We don't want to launch something that we think will work. We want you guys to scrutinize us, to press our neck and tell us that all you guys are doing is bullshit. So we can do things better. We don't want to launch and then we get all of those uh,
Who sends you vibes? Who sends
exactly,
you?
yeah, exactly. So we want to do it publicly. We want you guys to contribute to the whole building process. For every new thing we introduce or we build, we are going to showcase it to the group, to the community, and then you guys comment on it. And then if there's a need to update or to refine it, we'll do that. And so when we get to the point of launching our products, we know that okay, there is some kind of market fit uh, as regards this our product we are launching. So we really need you to join this community. It's not a community; it's actually a discussion group for our products. It's a wait list. So you also test these products before launch, and then would also you help us make the best decisions as regards launching our tool. So please click on that link that you are seeing on the chat box, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can use your phone or use any QR code scanner and scan this QR code. It will lead you to the WhatsApp group or community so that you can be a part of every discussion that we'll be having as regards our tools and our products that are currently in development. Thank you very much. I will.
Thank you.
Are people joining already? Please, if you have joined a group, okay. Ahmed Quadri is saying Revit that can save to a lower version. I think we need to note that. Well, we
A
need a
special.
feature. Yeah, we need a feature that can, of course, everything's about data and it's doable.
Okay.
I've looked into it before and it's something we can do. We'd consider working on it if it's something that everybody needs. So yeah. Would the standalone integrate all its ACC solutions in one? Of course, definitely. We are if we are to build anything that replicates or duplicates Revit. Revit is considering every stakeholder in the industry. So they are integrating every profession. So definitely it's something we are going to do as well. If it is needed, if a duplicate of Revit for the Nigerian and the African uh, landscape is needed. So let's go. We really like us to join this wait list. We need you guys. There's a product on ground now that we want to test. We can't launch it, we can't push it out if we don't get your insights. We get insights from you. Please scan this QR code and click on the link. Taiwo, please confirm to me how is the pinned chat visible? Is it visible once you
Yeah, it's very visible. It's
okay?
visible there. You can see it here. I can copy the
Please,
link and
if you have joined, can you use an emoji signify with an emoji that you have joined, please. Would really appreciate that. We want you guys, we really need you guys. We can't do much without getting to know what our users need. So please kindly join this our wait list and let's do big things together.
okay.
So Taiwo, I think we're done with the questions, right?
Yes, I think we are done with the questions. We've had so much to talk about today. Great insights from every one of us. And we actually appreciate every one of us for joining us. Yeah, I think this is one of its kind. Am I wrong, Kenny?
you are
Have you
not
attended?
you are not wrong. You are not wrong.
I think
I
it's one
think
of its kind.
I think it's actually very useful to any startup. It's something that will help us understand the market. So please
Yeah.
drop an emoji. You could use the emoji on the what do we call it, at the bottom of your phone or your screen. Yeah, just let us know that you have joined the wait list. Be rest assured, we are not stealing your information. We are not going to be misusing your information. We just want to get insights about the products. You guys will be the ones that will have access to the products we'll be building, even right from the building phase. Yeah, first hand access, and then we'll be getting insights from you. And that's because you guys chose to join this meeting today. So it also functions as a discussion group where everybody will be sharing their thoughts and the likes. Please, I'm not seeing enough emojis. Please just give us an emoji if you have joined. Please.
Oh, it's here.
Bonaventure,
Yeah.
you have joined many times. You want to join, okay?
It will not cost us anything. No.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's
you are basically helping us to do something revolutionary, especially for our industry here in Nigeria. And we really appreciate you to if you can join us on this journey. We don't want to do it alone and suddenly come out one day and say, we have built something. No, we want people to know right from the very scratch, from the very beginning, okay, that these guys have started something new and we have been following through. So it won't be hard for us even to build a customer base. You guys will be our customers. So please kindly click on that link. Hey, I'm begging you. I don't need to beg like this. Well, I've lost all my shame and steez, so I'm begging. Click on that link. Thank you very much. Or you can scan the QR code. I think all right, thank you. Say kindly resend the link. It's pinned on the chat. Can you see it? Can anyone see
I
it?
can send it. I can send it. It's not a big deal.
Okay, you can
Just
resend it. If you need the link again, let us know. If you have joined, please signify. Okay.
so engineer, is it builder, med, quadrant is this?
He's an architect.
I mean, sorry, architect.
I've told you this before.
How am I missing everything? No, but I apologize for that, please. Architect Ahmed.
Engineer.
I don't understand. He has a beef with us, so it's understandable.
Apparently, wait, we need to
Well,
change that.
and anyway, I know you need to close, but what I just want to say quickly is I'd like for maybe future forums. I really do not know much people here, but also if possible, if you can bring in the the professionals, more of the professionals that are engaged in this. I know there's a forum about this Beam Africa. I think they moved to some other name of digitizing and stuff. Perhaps maybe even go into offices that have these issues, construction firms. I know I had a discussion with one of these top guys, and then their issue was very, very alarming. Like they are trying to move from CAD to Revit, and then they are now even doubting the capacity of a BIM software to solve their solution, and which I can't blame them. But yeah, that's what I'm just saying, that perhaps your next session should like expand the basis to professionals, because we professionals, and I'll say we because sometimes I'm very much guilty. We are very busy making money, and we have little. Most of our time, we spend less time trying to evolve ourselves, because when we are making money, what's the need to evolve ourselves? Like we already enjoying the money. So there's a need to do more outreach to the professionals and get them inside. And because we are the ones that have the problem, if not, you just be building a generation that is smarter than the people that are already in the office, and which is not really a good thing. So yeah, that's my contribution. Thank you very much. I appreciate you and your team.
Thank you, Architect Ahmed Kodri. Thank you for your wonderful insights and recommendations. I think we'll take note of that and work on it subsequently. Kenny, is there any other business before we put this webinar to a close?
Oh no. Basically, yeah. I'll just keep begging all of us to join this wait list. I think I'll also create a content about it for every professional there. Physically, we really need to make sure everybody's here. Okay, we have someone who wants to say something. Larry, what do you add in the...
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Hello, all right. I'm sorry I joined the meeting late because I was having a class and I just finished like a few minutes ago. So I've been hearing Revit. For over years now, I've been trying to move from AutoCAD to Revit. Sorry, let me introduce myself again. My name is Olaraju Adini. I'm an MEP engineer. I do MEP design, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. So I use AutoCAD mostly, and I've been trying to move to Revit for a while now. So trying to get the training done. Well, I've been hearing some discussion on Revit on this platform, but I think I'm missing the major key points about this meeting. I don't know if I can get maybe a little summary of it. I've joined the WhatsApp group anyway, but I'll see if I can get a little summary. Thank you, sir.
All right. Let me quickly comment on that. And thank you for noting that. Yeah, basically why we came up with this webinar was to bring all kinds of professionals within the construction industry. And I mean professionals in architecture, in engineering, and in construction to discuss the problems that we have, that we face or we are experiencing on day-to-day work. So problems that affect our productivity, that affect how we work, that causes maybe delays in project deliveries and all of those things. We are basically bringing all of us together, every of this kind of industry giants in one space to discuss these problems. And that's because we are a tech startup, a technology startup focused on building software solutions that solves all the unique problems in our industry. And yeah, we cannot, and because we cannot build without understanding our end users' needs, we need to get information from our end users. We need to gather data, know, okay, what are the specific problems that needs urgent solutions. That's why we came up with this webinar to have a discussion with every giant here in this meeting. So that's basically the essence of this webinar. I think when they were mentioning something about Revit, we were basically talking about how, personally, what I said was basically talking about how a lot of people want us to reinvent the wheel, like maybe create our own kind of Revit for this region that fits our economic reality. Yeah, and other people talked about the potentials of making Revit more productive and the likes. So that's basically what this meeting is about. I don't know if you get the full gist, Mr. Adini.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So thank you everyone. As the conversation does not end here, it goes beyond this webinar. Yeah, there'll be calls for subsequent webinars. There'll be reasons for us to personally meet every one of us if there'll be any about that. We might be seeing us in our organizations, in our different organizations for different reasons. And so the conversation does not end here. So as you said earlier, if there's anything you feel you want to discuss and we probably did not discuss it yet, you can always reach out to us. I think Kenny shared our mail. Kenny, can we have that
Okay.
mail and send it?
I think I need to pin it. Yes, I need to pin it.
Yeah,
We
you need to
have
pin it here.
a send. Let me retype it. I can't see it anymore. It's lost in the
Yeah.
chat.
So you can always reach out to us through our email. We're also on LinkedIn at KS Digital Innovations. We'll be willing to take in your inputs. We'll be willing to have a conversation. We are open to collaborations, and all we are doing is to build to direct the future of the AEC industry in Nigeria and Africa at large. So my name remains Taiwo Ayorinde. You'll be seeing my face around. You'll be seeing a lot of me on LinkedIn and spots. This engage my posts, engage our posts. We're all doing this for the industry, and I think that's all from me. Kenny.
Yeah. I want to say thank you. I've seen everyone that has joined. This means a lot to us. You guys are awesome, and you get to see me and see my team. This wonderful and remarkable team that we have. We'll be shouting at your faces often. You will see us on LinkedIn, you'll see us on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. We are not going to stop because we are going to bring this revolution to our space, to this industry, especially here in Nigeria, and then we can then scale to every other part of the world. But be rest assured that we are dedicating our life to this. I'm dedicating my life to this. I know my team is doing the same thing, and I know that we all want the same thing for our country. We all want the same thing for this industry. We want to end this digital colonization happening in the industry, and we can start with us. That's the whole essence of talking about homegrown technology. It doesn't have to end with conversations. We need to see action, and that's what we are doing. So thank you for joining us. We really love you to contribute as we keep dropping info about all the products we are building. So have a wonderful time, have a wonderful weekend, and God bless you all. Bye bye. I think I just drop some emojis as we all leave. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin. Thank you. Ahmed, Ahmed, thank you very much for your contribution so far. And God bless all of us. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. We still need you. Please, if you have not joined our group, please, as you are leaving, please just join and please make a comment. Make a comment on the chat box that you are here now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. We will not leave until you guys leave. We are dedicated to serving you. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you for always engaging. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I'm still going to wait till everybody goes. We are still waiting. We're still waiting. Except you want to say something nice to me or you want to give me money. You can wait. because we don't reject money in this economy. So I'm waiting. Since Pamela is counting some dollars for me, so we can use as a startup fund. Yeah. Pamela, are you an angel investor? Seems you want to give us some dollars, $250K. Yeah. We'll wait until everybody goes. Wait. Engineer Abdul Fattah, I think I will have to reach out to you personally. I think I have to do that today, because that insight you dropped. I hope you've joined our wait list and you've joined our community, our WhatsApp group. Can anyone hear me? Oh, okay. Yeah. Since everybody's leaving, we'll talk in the community, in the WhatsApp group. So all right, guys. Take care. Bye bye. Have a wonderful time. It's 2 o'clock as we promised, and this time we are ending this meeting. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.